What's up, guys? This is Courtney, one half of the Brothers Deconstruction here, and last week was San Diego Comic-Con. I know I didn't do any videos about any of the news or any of the panels. I just enjoyed it as a fan. What can I say? But now that we have basically most of the news that has come out of San Diego, we've had some time to kind of sit back on it. Now I'm going to be bringing you a video talking about some of that news. Now, this video is going to be about Captain Marvel and how it relates to Avengers 4 or Avengers Untitled or Untitled Avengers, whatever you want to call it. I am going to have a couple of other videos that I'm going to be recording. Those might get put up. I haven't recorded them yet, but those will probably get put up within the next week or so. Ideally. But Captain Marvel, Marvel Studios showed concept art of Captain Marvel, how Brie Larson is going to be looking in a suit, everything like that. There are rumors swirling around that Nick Fury was going to be in the movie. At Comic-Con, we got confirmation that yes, Nick Fury is in the movie. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Nick Fury is going to have two eyes in the movie. Why is that? Because Captain Marvel is set in the 90s. That's right. Captain Marvel is going to predate the MCU when she debuts, which is very interesting to me. Now, I don't think Captain Marvel is going to be, set in the early 90s. I'm expecting it to be mid to late 90s. So that means by the time Tony Stark says Iron Man or I'm Iron Man in 2008, I'm expecting Captain Marvel to probably take place 10 years before that in like 98 or so. Now, when I heard this news, I was like, okay, that's interesting. But what really made me start thinking about how this relates to everything else in the larger MCU is that we also got a revelation of who she's going to be fighting in the movie. She's going to be fighting Skrulls. Now, the reason why that's so mind-blowing to me and it changes everything is that, one, we're probably going to be getting a preview of the Kree Skrull War from the comic books. And two, I think Avengers 4 is Secret Invasion. Now, here's my theory on why that is, or why it would make sense for them to go that route. If it's been 10 years, now, well, it makes that post-credit scene from the first Iron Man when Nick Fury tells him, like, you think you're the only hero in this world? At that time, we were only assuming that Nick Fury was talking about, Thor, Captain America, Black Widow, Hawkeye. Was basically talking about that solo Avengers group and all that, and Hulk, all that stuff from the Phase 1 of movies. Now, setting Captain Marvel in the 90s is giving Marvel the opportunity to go backtrack and give that statement much more meaning. Telling Tony Stark, you think you're the only hero in this world? I mean, I dealt with an Air Force pilot, a decade ago who wound up with powers, and I haven't heard from her since. Like, you're not the only person that has abilities in this universe. So that could just add another layer of depth to that statement right then and there. But I think Avengers 4, which has been untitled because Kevin Feige himself has said that the title is a spoiler, I think it's Secret Invasion. Because if you bring in the Skrulls and they predate the MCU by 10 years at least, that's big news, because then we don't know who's a Skrull and who isn't. And the Winter Soldier, I believe, now this is a statement that I saw somebody make online. Somebody pointed out that in the Winter Soldier, Nick Fury said, the last time I trusted somebody, I lost an eye. Since Nick Fury is going to have both his eyes in Captain Marvel, the person was theorizing that he trusted a Skrull and lost an eye for it. Now, that may or may not turn out to be true, I can see that making sense. It could also be that, he trusted somebody during an operation that had nothing to do with the Skrulls and, just so happened to lose an eye for it or something like that. This raises the question of who's a Skrull? Did Carol eliminate the Skrull threat? Are there no more Skrulls walking around or in, on Earth or anything like that? Obviously, the movie hasn't come out yet, so we don't know how she handles or ends her battle with the Skrulls. But, some of our favorite Avengers could be Skrulls. Plain and simple. That's why this news is so big to me, and I think that it is Secret Invasion. That's the title of Avengers 4. Now, it would make sense that they wouldn't reveal that title too early, because even if they cut Secret off, even if they name it Avengers Invasion, now that could mean, there's an invasion, after Infinity War, Thanos, kills most of the team or something like that, and he invades Earth or something along those lines. I can see somebody trying to figure it out that way, but in my opinion, I think if they had come out and said Avengers 4 is actually titled Avengers Invasion, I think 90% of the comic book community will probably think that they're talking about Secret Invasion anyway. So they're just not giving that up. Now, just like with Civil War, the comic book event of Civil War wasn't, it's Marvel's highest selling book or event. But if you ask around, Civil War the event gets mixed reviews. The same thing for Secret Invasion, and I think people more so hate Secret Invasion than like it. But it can lead to some very interesting things being done for the movies. So that's why I'm really, really intrigued and eager to see how this plays out. Again, that's the real major news that I took away from Marvel's panel at Comic-Con. We're probably getting Secret Invasion, and then, this means that anybody that dies in Avengers Infinity War might be a Skrull. They can, bringing in the Skrulls gives Marvel so much room to play with. And Tony Stark died in Secret Invasion. Well, that wasn't really Tony Stark. That was a Skrull Tony Stark. And the real one has been captured for 9 years or something like that. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see how they pull this off and what they actually do with it. So I'm really excited for Captain Marvel now that this news is out. And I'm really excited for the MCU going forward, because this is really big news. This can start off, and I can see them using the comic book promotion when they actually ran the Secret Invasion event of who do you trust with, a lineup of heroes, and some of them had the Skrull chins and things like that. I can see them using that promotion for the movie. So I'm really excited to see what they're going to be doing with this. Like I said, I got a couple of other videos that I'm going to be talking about some news that came out. I probably won't touch up on any more of the Marvel news that came out of the panel. They had some casting announcements that were made that I thought were really, really interesting. So who knows? I might just do a mashup of Marvel news from their panel and get that out of the way. I'm also going to be talking about Warner Brothers DC, their movie panel for Justice League, and they announced, their other movies and things like that. So, yeah, stay tuned for that stuff. I'll talk to you guys later.